folks! You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while going on tangents and laughing our faces off. I have big, giant news to share. This Thursday, I'm premiering a brand new podcast. I teamed up with Jenny Nordback to bring you another weekly show called Bonkers Romance, where we recap and discuss the most Banana Town bonkers books we can find with your favorite people from Romancelandia. Make sure to stay to the end of this episode to hear the trailer for Bonkers Romance, and follow us wherever you're listening right now so you don't miss our first 2 episodes. Your Thursdays are going to get a whole lot more joyful. Jenny and I have a ton planned in addition to the podcast, and right now, Heaving Bosoms patrons are reaping the benefits. Everyone at the $10 tier and up is getting a free preview of what we're calling the Bonkers Romance Book Club. Basically, it's a digital book box where supporters get 2 free ebooks a month. Last month, patrons got an advanced copy of Sierra Simone's new release, Saint. And this month, they're getting advanced copies of Jenny's debut romance, His Leading Lady, and Avery Flynn's #1 in a new series called Mama's Boy. If you sign up at the $10 level or above, you can download those right this minute. And now we've got a special surprise. Alexis Daria stopped by to talk about A Lot Like Adios and recap the rom-com triumph, Miss Congeniality. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, listener.
Hello.
Hello, Erin. I haven't seen Erin in forever.
For a long time.
Yeah. Also, we're meeting one of our heroes for the very first time. So, welcome to Heaving Bosoms, Alexis Daria.
Yay!
Yay, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh. It's our actual pleasure. How are you? How's everything going?
I'm, doing as well as can be. It seems like our heat wave in New York City finally broke, so maybe I can go outside again.
Maybe. Well, and you've recently had just like this tiny release that came out.
Do you have like maybe some news? Like
any news? Nothing is new with you.
My latest book release, A Lot Like Adios, just came out. And it is the second book in the Primas of Power series, right after You Had Me at Hola.
Yeah.
We read You Had Me at Hola, which you probably know, and I don't have one. Yeah. This is bullshit. They're holding up their books. I don't have one to hold up. But we loved You Had Me at Hola. We loved it so much. It was so good.
So I have a confession.
What?
I did listen to the episodes. Because my publicist texted me and was like, you have to listen to the Heaving Bosoms episodes about your book. And she listened to them first. She was like, they don't say anything bad. But she said, it's just so funny. You have to listen. So I put them on while I was trying to do some work, I guess. And then I just sat there and listened. And then I went and I told my boyfriend, you should listen to this so that you'll know what my book is about. But he hasn't.
That's okay. I don't think my husband has ever listened to an episode.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the episode. It's always, we always worry about saying something, even accidentally, that will like get stuck in an author's head, Mm-hmm. So I'm really, really, really glad because we like fell over ourselves about You Had Me at Hola. And so Mish and Gabe, though, holy shit, man. Like I loved You Had Me at Hola, but like, I don't know. I think maybe you leveled up.
Oh, that's the best to hear.
Like this nonsense is so good. Oh my gosh. Mish and Gabe just slayed me. So do you want to tell listener what it's about, or do you want me to keep rambling really, really badly?
You would probably do a better job than I would say what the book is about. It's about 2 former friends who haven't seen each other in 13 years since they graduated high school. And they were just really good friends. And then that last moment before they parted, they had like a really hot hookup, and then goodbye forever until
without a word.
Yeah, without a word. Oh, and then they end up reuniting to work on a project together.
Yeah.
And they are stuck in a house together next door to his parents, and he does not want his parents to know that he's there, so he's sneaking in and out. And they pretty much just like leap back into bed together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, okay. So I loved Michelle in the first book, in the Primus of Power text. Like, loved her. And now, I don't know. I just love how strong she is about everything. And yet she has that like ooey gooey center that she's just trying so hard to protect. Mm-hmm. And then Gabe. So not only, listener, oh my God, not only is it second chance, it's also like friends to like quasi enemies because he dicked her
proximity
over
too.
Real good.
It's a lot of things.
It's forced proximity. There's only one bed. They what?
I said they all start with F, except for only one bed. There's like forced proximity, former friends to lovers, fake dating, fan fiction. There's a lot of effing. I can curse on here, right?
Oh my God! Oh yes, please.
I couldn't remember for a second. Yeah, there's a lot of in this book.
Yeah, it is so steamy. And then, okay, so. Listener, if you recall, there was that whole device used in You Had Me at Hola where we got to see the episodes of the telenovela. And like Erin and I died over that. In this book, there's this whole love letter to nerddom and like all of that because the interstitials in this book are the fan fiction that they wrote together for a sci-fi Latinx show.
It's so brilliant how you could keep that line of interstitials throughout. Well, you're so smart.
It's masterful. Like there's no other word for it. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, thank you, Ms. Daria.
I won't lie. Those scenes in both books, it really took me a long time to figure out how I was going to show these scenes.
Sure.
And with this one, I came up with so many different like fake sci-fi shows that they could have been fans of.
Oh.
And then I came up with whole outlines for what their fanfic was. And the fanfic is barely in the book.
A lot of it is just them chatting and planning the fanfic, which is just as good.
You have the first scene and the last scene, and then the rest of it is just their chats. Oh. So those are serving as the flashback.
So I think what I'm hearing from you is that this fanfic exists somewhere in full form, written by you.
Is that a thing?
Is that what we're hearing?
It doesn't, but there is an outline because I actually cut a lot of their planning out of those parts where they were like, and what if they do this, and then they do this, and then they do that. And I was like, nobody else is going to care about these fake characters. The characters were not even in the book.
Right.
They're not even real within the world of the story.
Right.
So I cut a lot of those things out. But it has crossed my mind to try writing.
I bet if you write it, you will find some people who care.
Yeah. That's I bet people might, I don't know, flock to it. Like, I feel like, that would be a really good newsletter incentive. Listen, I'm not an author publicist, but
saying stuff.
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you so much. And thanks for coming on the podcast to talk about the movie. What movie did you choose?
Oh, so we watched Miss Congeniality from the year 2000, starring Sandra Bullock.
Boy, is it from the year 2000, everyone.
Oh, yes.
No, okay. But for a movie from the year 2000, it is not the worst early 2000s romantic comedy we have watched in terms of problems.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was only one Liberace joke, after all.
I even forgot about that one. It's not without its issues, but not as bad as it could have been, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, just to get that on the table, there's some fat shaming and fat phobia. There's homophobia. There's like
a lot of gay jokes.
There's a lot of gay jokes. What else is in here? There's a lot of sexual harassment in the workplace.
And so much misogyny.
So much misogyny.
There were a lot of like terrible jokes made on Miss Hawaii's behalf.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Miss Hawaii was abused. Yeah. But other than those things.
But other than that, what a great fun movie.
What a super fun movie. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got...
Wait, I gotta say up front, Mel,
Yeah.
hey, look me in the face. Melody.
Here I am.
If it becomes too much FBI-wise, we need a signal.
It's literally never going to happen. I never think it's too much FBI stuff.
Buckle up for a 3-hour lesson on how this op should have gone.
I actually put in a note that said something like, I'm not a law enforcement officer, but I'm pretty sure this is not how you do a bust.
I'm pretty sure this is a giant mess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So before we get into the movie, though, I have to tell you a funny story. I watched the movie last night.
Yeah.
But before that, I took a nap in the middle of the day, as I want to do. And I dreamed that I was going to watch the movie.
Uh-huh.
But in the dream, I accidentally put on a Tiffany Haddish movie instead. And then when I woke up, I just wanted nothing more than an updated remake starring Tiffany Haddish.
Yes.
Fantastic.
How brilliant would that be?
Oh my god.
That would be very good.
Wow.
And in my head, I'm like, an updated remake, this isn't that old, but it is 20 years old.
It's a full 20 years
due for a remake.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Oh my god. Yeah, she would.
Just putting that out into the universe.
I love it. All right. So we start off in a Russian mob restaurant. Okay,
Actually,
no, we start off in a playground, Melanie.
I'm so sorry.
Take a seat.
You're right.
In 1982. And I did not remember this scene because I've realized I can't remember the last time I watched this movie all the way through, if I ever have, because I usually catch it on TV sometime during the makeover or the pageant. And I'm like, oh, look, it's on. And I watch it from there.
Totally.
But watching it from the beginning, I was like, what's happening here with this playground scene in 1982?
But part of this is basically like she beats up a guy to like protect another guy.
Kids.
They're children.
They're children on the playground. Literal children. I don't know, like 8, 6.
Yeah.
I don't know how kids are. Anyway, I don't know how old
She's
kids
reading
are.
a book called The Invisible Intruder, which I thought was very charming.
Wasn't it Nancy Drew? I think it was a Nancy Drew book. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
But she like beats up the kid, and then the other kid, she's like, I kind of have a crush on you. And he's like, I don't like you at all because now everyone thinks I'm a wimp. And so she beats him up too.
My exact note, it's not what he says, but it's basically what it says. He says, I don't like you. I've already soaked up a ton of toxic masculinity. And so you defending me was super embarrassing. And so she does punch him right in the face. It's great.
Yep.
The bad kid, he's like, you're calling me a girl? And she's like, you called me one. And I'm like, it's not a bad name.
It's not a pejorative.
Stop internalizing that, children. Anyway.
Yeah, so she punches both of them in the nose. And I was
love
like, okay, we're not going to get into what her home life is like, or, we don't hear anything about her family, like why she thinks it's okay to punch people in the nose in the schoolyard. But hey, it was 1982.
When I was reading trivia for this, I found out that there was originally a backstory for Agent Hart where her mother was a top FBI agent who was killed in the line of duty.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, but they had to cut it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they
if you
needed
look at
that
it through that lens,
Liberace
you
joke.
can kind of see it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. All right.
Okay, so now we're in a
Russian
situation.
mob restaurant, okay? And she is doing a surveillance with a book that has a very obvious video camera on it and a full screen on the inside.
Okay. At first I thought, this is a stupid device that would never be used. But they wouldn't the stupidest thing is Benjamin Bratt out in the rain.
Oh my God.
Sitting next to a garbage can pretending to be a homeless person. Like, what is that? Like, what is he surveilling? What is he doing? Like, clearly they have her perched inside the restaurant. Why can't they have him at another table? It makes no sense. But whatever. That's the stupid thing.
Jumping off that, though, and this is skipping ahead just a little bit, he tells her at the end of that scene, and by the way, you look like hell. And I was like, you were literally sitting in garbage.
You look like... Yes.
Rude.
And he was literally sifting through actual garbage, like not pretending to. He was really looking through garbage.
He went very method on this thing.
Yes. Yes. But anyway, the book device, like, I thought about it and I was like, actually, it's kind of genius because now she can see what her camera is capturing instead of just like hoping that she's getting it. I kind of actually like that device, even though it was super stupid.
Sure, but if anybody walks behind you, you're fucked. Yeah. Like, I guess I'm glad she was in a booth. Maybe that was strategic. I don't know.
But then, as the problem is in this scene, someone walks in front of her, and all the FBI guys comment on the size of this waitress's ass.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And she's a regular sized lady. Not that it matters, but like, God, the 2000s. Like,
yeah,
she's a regular lady. Mm-hmm. But she has a stroke of genius to get up and hug the woman and tell her how much she enjoyed the borscht, which was very funny.
It's very cute.
And then all of a sudden it starts to go down with these Russian mobsters who are at a table in the middle of the restaurant next to a window, which is so convenient for the FBI.
But listen, they handed off those discs, you know?
Yes.
So that's what they needed, the discs.
Yep. And they got it on camera.
Eyes on the discs. And then she stands up and points a gun at them and says something that means nothing in Russian. I went back 1,000 times. She says something like "Lahitsna na pol," which is nothing. Russian HPs, I'm sorry, but I think it's nothing. Like, na polo means on the floor, but lahishna doesn't mean anything. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's not a word. Get on the floor, no. Hands on the floor, like, it's nothing. It means nothing. It might mean spoon on the floor.
Well, as we know, she was reading a book on Russian grammar or something like that.
She was.
But it was cut out for her little screen in her camera, so maybe what she needed was cut out.
It's right where the screen was. That's where it said, "Get on the floor."
They really messed that up, those tech guys. But then the big Russian boss, he does start choking on a peanut. And the leader of the whole FBI unit is like, everybody stand down. We're not falling for this nonsense.
Right.
And she's very like, he is purple. That is hard to fake.
Right.
So she goes against orders and she gives him the Heimlich maneuver. And that gives him a chance to like get a knife at her neck. And then other people start shooting. And then one of her colleagues does get very shot in the shoulder.
Yes.
However, these 3 FBI guys busted in. There's the one guy in the back, and then the 3 of them just stood there.
Right there. Boom,
like,
boom,
with
boom.
huge guns, too. But, like, I don't know, 4 feet away from the Russian mobsters, and then they never secured the scene, and the mobsters didn't have their guns out yet.
Yeah.
But they just yelled at each other for a while this guy choked.
Yeah, they didn't even have anybody at the back door. Didn't somebody have to run the fuck around the whole restaurant?
Yeah, they went around the building. They had to go through the kitchen. It was a mess. The whole thing was a mess, and it was not Gracie's fault. The whole thing was everyone's fault. Like, I don't know who was running the op, if it was the guy, if it was McDonald, the major guy, or I don't know. But it wasn't her fault. It was kind of her fault. But it wasn't all her fault.
Sure.
But you know what is her fault?
The TV dinner and punching bag and not putting her hair up?
Kind of. When her teammate gets shot in the shoulder and she doesn't go to the hospital. Like, they all just go home and wait for the morning briefing to find out if he will live. Like, go to the hospital. Like, Jesus Christ.
They're just like, he's okay, send him lots of gifts.
Like, yeah, they're so relieved in the morning when they find out he will live. Jesus.
Well, they did have to get their beauty sleep, Erin. It is the FBI after all. You have to look your best.
But there is that scene where she goes home and it says somewhere in, where did I put those notes? That apparently all that scene said was Gracie goes home and starts boxing. So that whole scene was ad-libbed with
brilliant
Sandra Bullock, like, fighting with the microwave door and tripping over things.
With the comforter, it's like her physical comedy in this is so good. She's so good.
She's really good at a pratfall.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So she's upset, because her friend got shot. She doesn't know his condition at all because she's at home eating her microwave dinner, but she's upset about it. Then we clip to the citizen.
The citizen.
Dun, dun, dun.
Typing their note.
It's an ominous computer. Yeah. Oh, wow, this poetry. Wow.
I have a lot of things to say. First of all, if you're going to mail a letter of this type, wearing gloves isn't going to help you. You're breathing on the letter. So, you're going to get DNA on it. It's coming out of your printer. Your DNA is all over this thing. And then the bitch licked the envelope. What's the gloves for? It makes no sense.
But she typed it on a computer, right? It wasn't on like a typewriter.
No, computer.
But she's like, she prints it and like pulls it out.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's what the gloves were for. Yeah, but then licks it.
And then licks
Not smart.
So you see this bulletin board of like all of these other targets that the citizen has hit, like a stadium and like maybe a boat yard of some kind.
Sorry, okay? I just killed a mosquito.
Oh, hey, get it.
Yes.
I think that's our first Heaving Bosoms casualty.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it is real dead.
Anyway, all of these different things that the citizen has hit. And then throughout the movie, they keep suspecting people who are like very deeply involved with specifically the beauty pageant. Like Miss Rhode Island, like did a PETA protest one time. They're like, maybe it's her. Maybe she's the citizen. And it's like, no. What do you think happened here? She bombed a random shipyard and a stadium and then decided to go back to Rhode Island and go to the prelims for like Miss America and go up through the ranks and finally become Miss Rhode Island so that she can bomb this target? It makes no sense. Like they should have thought it was a copycat from the beginning.
Yeah.
These FBI agents are pretty terrible for a lot of reasons. One being that they're bad at their job.
Yeah.
But also there's a whole lot of misogyny from these guys.
Oh my gosh. So much misogyny, so much workplace sexual harassment, and we've got an abuse of power here right now because she gets a phone call on her way to work. And she's like, oh, sir, all right, I'll get right on it. Yep, I'll be there. And you think she's going like siren, the whole thing. You think she's going to a crime scene. She does cut like 45 people at the biggest Starbucks I've ever seen in my life in order to get about a dozen coffees. It's so much.
What a great Starbucks commercial, though. So much Starbucks in this movie.
Yeah, for real. I will say, though, that kind of crowd in a Midtown Starbucks is accurate.
It is, yeah.
But one thing that she did, I was trying to figure out where she was driving from because when she leaves her house, you can see the Empire State Building in the distance. So she's either in Queens or in New Jersey. I thought Queens, based on her accent.
Right.
But could be Jersey. But then she's driving a little West 12th Street, which is all the way over on the west side by the highway. And I recognize the street there because it's in the meatpacking district. And I just went to an outdoor restaurant there.
Yeah.
2 of them actually fairly recently.
Nice.
And let me tell you, the meatpacking district has changed a lot in 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like if she's coming from Queens, she wouldn't be over there. And she certainly wouldn't be over there on her way to Midtown. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel like I have to know where the New York City FBI headquarters is.
Ooh, yes, please find out.
I have found out, but it means nothing to me because I know nothing about New York.
What is it?
It's like the Brooklyn Bridge is right there.
Okay, so it's lower
downtown.
Manhattan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the financial district, basically. Right?
Yes, it's in lower Manhattan.
Yeah.
Civic Center. It's
probably City Hall area.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, yeah.
So is that near there?
No.
So she went to a very out-of-the-way Starbucks.
I don't know what Starbucks looks like down there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
Maybe not Midtown.
Okay, so now she's at work, and boy, is she in trouble with her boss. Man, he is so mad at her for really extra screwing up the terrible op he planned.
She's going to have to do paperwork for a really long time until the review board meets.
Right.
She has a really cute argument, though, with Benjamin Bratt about whether she argues, and I really like that. They have a lot of good chemistry. For not having, like, a lot of romance in this movie, the romance that they have is, like, very potent, and, like, their chemistry is very good.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we have a bigger career? Like, where's Benjamin Bratt? Where has he been? Is he a dick in real life or something?
I don't know.
Like, he's super hot and good in this movie.
So apparently Matt Dillon was originally cast in this role.
No.
And visceral reaction to that is no.
Wow. I'm really glad Ben Bratt, took over.
Yes.
He took the helm on this one.
But once again, a terrible FBI agent because they get the letter. They're all looking over the letter. And the main guy, McDonald, is like, okay, listen, Eric, whose last name I don't remember.
Matthews.
You've been wanting to run an op for 5 years.
5
at the Bureau. Sir, you have been at the FBI for 5 years and you haven't run an op? Like, how bad at this job are you?
But they tell him he did such a good job the night before that he's earned this. And I was like, a good job doing what? Running around the back of the building and hitting a guy in the head with a trash can?
He really looked homeless. Like, he looked very homeless.
He collected so many cans for the FBI.
Yeah, 75 cents worth.
They were like, you've got your budget for this op that you're now going to run.
Basically. And also, like, a stadium and a shipyard have been bombed in New York City. We're just now putting an investigative lead on this case? Like, has no one been investigating that? Like, is there not already a team on this case? That's
Apparently not.
No, the Citizen has been small potatoes until they have come after this pageant. And then it's like top of the list, you know?
Yeah.
All right, there's this whole bar scene which is just there so that she can eat ice cream, a pint of ice cream. She can slouch. She can be in the biggest, manliest clothes and the biggest, clunkiest shoes. And then Benjamin Bratt can come in.
Not apologizing. Loved it.
No, I loved it too.
Well, she says, give me a pint. And he's like, you sure? And she's like, yeah. And then he gives her the pint of Ben and Jerry's. And you're like, okay, that's a good gag.
Yeah, it's
good. And when he walks in with the young blonde girl and she's like trying to order and she orders a white wine spritzer and she's whispering milk, give her milk. That's really funny.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, because she says she's an undergrad at Vassar and I was like, oh, you're young.
Very young. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot younger than Benjamin Bratt.
Right. Yes.
Most definitely.
He's helping her get an inside look on the FBI for her like term paper or something, and like
listen, the dick is like, very in the pants, you know. That's like as inside really as you can get, I think. If I were doing a paper on the FBI,
I bet she's helping you get an inside look too. It's good. The side comments are very good, and it establishes that she's jealous of this girl for no reason.
It does, and it establishes that he doesn't see her as a woman or viable romantic partner.
He won't
at all.
So, okay. So she has figured out, because she's the... Oh, hey, HBs. I don't know if you've heard, but we have a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get over 150 bonus episodes, most of which include Erin, videos of regular episodes, author hangouts, and so much more. Do you want to hear Erin and I recap every single episode of Crash Landing on You? What about a little film called Psycho Stripper? Do you want more recaps of ridiculous Thanksgiving and other holiday books and movies? And how do you feel about Naima Simone and I recapping amazing reality TV? All of that and more is on the Patreon. There's so much content at your fingertips as soon as you sign up. Seriously, hours and hours. Anyway, it's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast if you want to check it out. And of course, that link is in the show notes. Keep being a badass. Smartest one in the FBI, and nobody will see it. She's figured out that it's the Miss USA pageant, but so did the guys down in the decoding department.
Rest of the FBI.
Yeah.
I have a big thing to talk about here.
Yes.
Bing, boom, bong. When she rushes in to tell them that it's the Miss United States pageant, and she's like rushing past all the cubicles and stuff, she is wearing a huge corsage, like a prom corsage.
What? She is.
You noticed this too.
I did. And I was like, what are you wearing?
What is that? It's got like oranges on it. It's crazy.
I can only imagine it's from a scene that was cut. That like she probably had to like go stop somewhere and was like dressed inappropriately, so they like pinned some flowers on her.
Whoa. I don't know what it was, but it was insane.
Yeah. And then they were also talking about real restaurants. They were talking about like Wohop's, which is this restaurant down in Chinatown that I used to go to, not quite in the year 2000, but definitely like 2001.
Cool.
Like in the middle of the night, we would go there after going to internet cafes to play video games.
That's so cute.
What a time. What a time to be alive.
Seriously.
Okay. All right. So then they have a meeting.
Yeah.
They're going to have a meeting where they're developing the op plan. And she's like in the back, like reading a magazine so that she can like interject things. She's the only woman except for a lady in the corner taking notes, which is very funny to me.
So I wrote down, there's another lady in the background, but I guess since she's older, we're not supposed to pay attention to her.
Nope.
Don't look at her.
Invisible.
Don't look at her. She doesn't exist. So she interjects very like high octane, very astute and clever ideas, such as call the pageant, maybe call the television network. What if we did an undercover? And they're like, whoa, she's blowing our minds with these ideas. Like, these are the dumbest people in the world.
Yeah, that's like step one, right? You have to liaise with the people. That's what I learned in that McDonald's documentary.
Yeah, liaise with the people.
Yeah.
So they decide they need somebody to be in the pageant so that they can have somebody on stage at all times.
All times.
They want an FBI agent. They can't accomplish this operation of protecting this beauty pageant unless they have someone on stage in heels, blinded by lights, completely unable to observe what's going on or maneuver in any way, glued to the spot, with no vest. They cannot do it unless they have that person.
They couldn't put anybody in security. They couldn't make anybody a PA. They couldn't put anybody in the props department.
No. You couldn't give someone a headset and a clipboard to get backstage. No, they had to be in a bikini.
Oh my God, it's so
at the end, like moving forward, like when she's now top 5 and they've lost their team and it's just her and Eric, like, you know, going for it. And they're like, okay, we have to find Frank. We have to do this. We have to do that. And like Vic's like, no, you have the evening gowns. And she's like,
gotta go.
Okay, I have to go do the evening. It's like, this is a detriment to the operation. Like,
I mean, she had technically quit by that point.
Yeah, she's only beauty queen now.
She's professional beauty queen.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
no,
we
can't find the bomb. We must do the swimsuit competition right now.
Exactly.
Sorry.
She's part of the choreography.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Okay, but then
going back,
go back.
We get this scene. I don't know how I never quite noticed this part before. There's this like incredible FBI software that they have. They have 2 computer screens up, and on one of them, they're calling up, you know, what was it, something like FBI agents under 30 or under 35 who were female, something along those lines. And then on the other, the guy was like, here's the Dress Up Sally website that my daughter uses. That's basically like Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
And then somehow their amazing equipment merges these 2 sites so that they can put the FBI agents into different outfits and bathing suits, including the men.
Yeah.
Which one of these sites do you think had naked pictures of the FBI agents?
Right?
So that when they move from being in suits to being in swimsuits and like fun dresses, they know exactly what the cleavage looks like and the sinewiness of Benjamin Bratt's biceps and like forearms. Like, where did that intel come from? Like, when you go to when you start your job at the FBI, do they take a full naked picture of you just standing there looking straight ahead?
Well, I mean, Erin, you've been in law enforcement before. Isn't that in your jacket? You know, just like the file that's on everyone. There's no nudes
in case they need to like identify you or something.
Yeah.
If that exists, I was unaware.
Well, apparently a lot of these people in this room were unaware as well because their boss walks in.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Right as they're doing it on him.
Yeah.
On Ernie Hudson.
No one even thinks of the possibility that she's hot. Like, it's nuts. And she's right there. And but this is like the only movie where it's like she is legit disgusting at the beginning. Like, she's like pretty, the hair is in her face the whole time.
All
like,
the
I
time.
can kind of see where they don't notice how hot she is. Like,
I mean,
kinda.
But here's the problem with that. I'm sorry. I have to call shenanigans on this whole hair situation. You got your FBI time. Here I come. So we're meant to believe that this woman who does not care what she looks like, great. She only cares about function and doing her job. We are meant to believe that her choice all the time is to always have her eyes covered with her hair. Sometimes she's got a full low ponytail, but she has just pulled out the 2 strands in the front that she's
in a
get
hurry.
into
She
her
doesn't
eyes.
have time to
That's not a
get it
thing.
out of her face.
No.
She doesn't have time to pull it into the...
If she was just like in a slick back ponytail the whole time, I would be with them. But this whole like pigtails with your everything in your face, go fuck yourself. This woman has not thought about pigtails since her mom put them in her hair when she was 11. All right?
Yes.
That's way too much effort. Anyway,
and that
that's
mom died, and this is a memorial to her, and how dare you?
Her pigtails are a memorial to her dead FBI mom.
I do have a note in here that says, I think she's wearing a wig.
She is that.
In the scenes where her hair is terrible, I think I think that's actually a wig where it is her hair later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because of course, Sandra Bullock is a beautiful woman.
Yes.
God.
Yes. Like, it
She's
did look
gorgeous.
like a wig. And it drives you nuts how in her face it is all the time, especially when she's eating and it like gets in her mouth. Ugh. Okay.
Yeah.
So they find out that she is in fact hot.
Now we get a wrestling scene.
The wrestling scene is so good. All right. Okay.
Again, there is a lot of there are some problematic moments, but I do love a sexy wrestling argument in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I've chosen to believe that these two hi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you guys.
I'm with you.
I have chosen to believe that these two are like besties and are familiar with each other in this way where it's not harassing.
Yeah.
Because it is how
I
it
think
felt.
that's pretty clear.
I wish she would have smacked his ass a couple of times.
Yeah.
I wish he would have done it back to him, but it did feel familiar in a way that like they spar a lot. They're okay physically touching each other in a friend way.
It's true. She never seems uncomfortable with him or like threatened by him or anything like that throughout the movie. So I think goes a long way.
Yeah. I was more talking about the fact that she kept on being like, oh, is it a woman thing? Is it like, I'm not parading around in a thong, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, don't kid yourself. Nobody thinks of you like that.
Rude.
I loved it when she pins him with her legs like around his head.
Oh,
so she's like kind of sitting on his face a little bit.
That part was great.
I am convinced now that Game of Thrones stole this like last maneuver from her for when the mountain Pedro Pascal.
You're right.
I loved it. I loved that last ass slap. I loved everything about it.
Well, but then there's a couple lines that lead up to that last ass slap that are really good. So I wrote them down.
Tell us everything.
Where she says, because he's trying to convince her to do this pageant now. And she goes, where am I going to put my gun? And he goes, no place I want to know about. And they're like entwined in each other on the floor.
It's utterly charming, you know?
He's just so charming the whole time. Like when they're walking into the pageant next, and he's talking about how he dated a young Miss Scarsdale once. Like that's hilarious.
So once again, he dates very young women.
Yes, he does.
Yes. So they go and they talk to Murphy Brown and Captain Kirk they are the pageant people. That's who they are. And they're like, we need to get an FBI agent in there. And the way that we're going to do it is we're going to out the current Miss New Jersey as a porn star because 2000.
Yeah.
Come on.
There is a moment where they're like, oh, we found out that she was in that movie. And I was like, so what? Let her, do what she's got to do. And then William Shatner goes, was that her?
He is fantastic in this. They are both
really
fantastic
in this. Yeah.
His like announcer voice is perfect. Like when he's like, California. Like it's so good. It's
Texas.
So good. And Candace Bergen's line when she's like, I'd rather cancel the pageant than have one of them blown up. Which is like, yeah, of course. And then he goes, especially without their knowledge. Which is like, what does that even mean? They're both fantastic.
There's a moment in that scene. There's actually some really good cinematography shots in this scene, and one of the in the movie, but one of them is in this scene where Candice Bergen stands up, and there's all the pictures of previous winners behind her, and where she's standing, you can see the crown behind her, and it's good foreshadowing.
It's good.
Yeah, and it's also because she I loved it because she stands up for no reason, as if she knows that they're going to see that crown on her head.
Office,
and of
right?
course she did. Yeah.
Like, so she could have placed,
so
she maybe
good.
placed that there so that when she stands, it's like that.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I love the physical comedy Sandra Bullock does in this movie is so good. But like one of my favorite moments is when they ask if they have anyone in mind, and she like raises her hand just like with one finger, like me. It's so good. It's so good. Like the little stuff like that is so great about this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we meet Michael Caine.
Oh, now we're graced with Michael Caine.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's going to be the pageant consultant that is going to make her beautiful and walk in heels, is what he's going to do.
He agrees to the lunch. I think it's implied he agrees to the lunch because A, the FBI is paying, but also Benjamin Bratt is there. And he does this like grab his shoulder and lean in situation. And then suddenly, because you guys, Benjamin Bratt is not gay. He's not gay. Super duper straight. He has to leave the whole lunch because he's been touched on the shoulder by a gay man.
Literally tripping over himself to get out of this restaurant.
Yeah. Like he stops doing his job because a gay man touched his shoulder.
Right.
It's true.
It's terrible.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah. Anyway, so the physical
though.
comedy continues because Sandra Bullock has never eaten like this in her life. No. It's amazing.
She makes such a mess out of that steak.
Oh, it's so gross.
I was like, what else is that even on the plate? I thought they were like onions, but I think they were the fries, but they were just so messy.
They were mangled.
They were like onion fries. They were the curly onions, the onion straws.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Good job. I was just like, I don't even recognize this as food anymore.
That's what I mean about like this character. Like I feel like in a lot of romantic comedies, it's like glasses to no glasses. And it's like, oh, she trips sometimes, which she does trip a lot, but they're like full faceplant falls.
Yes.
You know, I feel like this is one of the few like ugly to pretty romantic comedy movies where at the beginning, like, she's legit disgusting. Like, watching her eat this meal was legit disgusting.
It is.
I can see why none of these guys noticed how hot she is.
She spends the whole time, like, picking at her teeth and chewing with her mouth, talking with her mouth full, and the hair again.
The hair.
She really plays it up. She is a great actress.
Yes. She really is. So we find out that he is a wash-up because, like, a few years ago, one of his pageant queens just froze, right?
Yeah, she said she froze up, and she said that she froze up because he was, like, too demanding of her, and he was a perfectionist, and he just made her nuts. Yeah. And so then he couldn't get work again.
Right. And so they go outside, and he tries to teach her how to glide on the sidewalk, and it's wonderful.
When she does the, like, I'm gliding here move with the cab, if you watch Michael Caine, he cracks, and it's so
He does.
great. He has to put his like, hand in front of his mouth because he's laughing so hard.
There is a good line there, too, though, where he says, I haven't seen a walk like that since Jurassic Park.
And he's really not wrong. She shakes water glasses everywhere just because she stomps so hard.
And she was wearing flared jeans, I noticed. And sneakers.
I did. I noticed the sneakers because I was like, I couldn't walk like pretty in those beat up sneakers. Like,
and flared jeans.
Ooh, flared jeans. Although
they're back.
Maybe that's the 2000s. Cool now. Like
they're back.
I did a middle
not
part.
For this guy.
I don't know how. I can't keep up, you guys. All right. So now we're on the plane watching.
Well, first we get a little hint of the bomber again. So we're getting these villain POV scenes where the citizen or whoever is planning for their attack on the beauty pageant. Then we get the airplane with the FBI.
Yes. And she's like practicing. She's watching footage of other contestants and like mimicking like when they're like, ah, and like that. Her in the background of when Benjamin Bratt and Michael Caine are having their scene is so good. But I also noticed so Michael Caine is standing.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt is sitting. To get Michael Caine's attention, Benjamin Bratt spanks him on the ass. Did you notice this?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
What are your signals? Like, I don't understand. Are you homophobic or are you slapping Michael Caine on the ass, sir?
Listen, his middle name is Mixed Signals.
I guess. It's not like a slap, but he definitely like taps him to get his attention. I'm like, listen. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a booty pat. And Michael Caine says that with enough work, she'll be ready for the best trailer park.
I mean,
but now we have a beauty sequence because the FBI has an army of beauticians just on call.
What she refers to at the end as federal manicurists. When Candace Bergen is like, I did this, I made you beautiful, and she's like, no, that was Vic and a team of federal manicurists. Like, so funny. Who are these people? Where is this warehouse?
It's like this hangar that is just full of like FBI makeover equipment, like a tanning bed and like a dental service and hair washing station, waxing, everything.
To suspend disbelief for this because it was so funny. Like this was
hilarious.
There's some kind of sound system where people are like manicurist to table 4.
Yes. And then there's this moment where the guys are all like checking their guns, and she comes out and they've just like done her bikini wax, and she's like running away. She's
hobbling away.
Hobbling, yeah.
So then she comes out and there's a fan on
Iconic.
her, and she's wearing that.
Blue bandage dress is like
bandage dress.
This was
so good.
The dress of the early 2000s. Like this is the coolest moment. I loved it.
And
Mustang
she's
Sally is
strutting
playing
like Sandra Bullock.
Yes,
not like Gracie.
Right. And then the fall is so good. The way she like shakes before she falls, like you can see the heel moving. Oh, it's so good.
And then she's got her classic line. I am in a dress, I have gel in my hair, I haven't slept all night, I'm starved and I'm armed, don't mess with me. And then she falls on her face.
And the hero sees her for the first time.
Yeah. And he is practically drooling.
Yeah. She's not just my male friend who I'm not attracted to because I'm not gay. She's a woman for the first time ever.
It's true. But then she shows up to the pageant and she makes a bunch of faux pas. She breaks up a disagreement between some pageant ladies at the table.
With a not great joke.
With a super gross joke.
Super lame joke. But she needed to do something in the moment. But we missed when she's in the dressing room and the FBI agents can see all the ladies. And they're like eating popcorn and like hooting at all of the naked ladies in the dressing room that they can see with the video. One of them says, look at all the hoochie mamas. Like, is that something people say out loud?
I hope not. And you would hope that the FBI wouldn't be saying that during Operation Thong, which is what Benjamin Bratt called it. But here we are.
No, right, Benjamin? It's your first op. Can you cool it?
Be better.
Yeah.
So at this breakfast, she finds out that they are firing William Shatner, which is a motive, I guess. But again, the citizen wouldn't be if they're looking for the citizen, they need to also have a motive for the shipyard and the stadium. Friends, it wouldn't be somebody. I don't understand.
They have like a very narrow view of this case.
I just wish that they had at the beginning been like, because they hadn't cracked the codes of the other letters. So maybe because they cracked the code so easy, like maybe somebody at the beginning could have been like, maybe it's a copycat. And then it would have been solved, friends. Yeah. Like, anyway.
And then the whole movie would have made sense.
Yeah.
But we also get a dance practice, a group dance number where Sandra Bullock is just incredible being a bad dancer. It's so charming.
very important to say about this.
Oh my God. Tell me everything.
In the dance montage, everyone is dancing except for this one woman in the back wearing... I implore you both, please go back and watch this. There's one woman standing in the back with a black baseball cap that says Miss North Carolina on it. Sorry, I hit my microphone. I'm so excited. It says Miss North Carolina, and she's just standing there, just looking straight at the camera, Miss North Carolina, and everyone else is dancing in front of her. It's like she doesn't know she's in the scene. I almost wonder if they had like hats for the extras so that they knew which one was which. Like, it's like she doesn't know they're filming.
She might just be the stand-in.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. But the baseball cap that just says Miss North Carolina is hilarious. I beg you all to go back and rewatch that.
Right,
Okay, I can't wait. I'm going to. Okay, so now Miss Rhode Island stops by her room with fat-free hot chocolate, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so smart, and you're so cool, and you're so wonderful, and you're totally gonna win.
That's why you're gonna win. I love when she comes to the door and Sandra Bullock answers and is like, I was grooming.
That was a great line.
Oh, it's so good.
It's lovely.
She finally gets to sleep and she's awakened by more training that she needs to do. These nighttime trainings that happen in the theater.
Yeah, so Benjamin Bratt comes and gets her from the room after Cheryl finally leaves. And this is where they practice walking. Yeah. And this is the moment where she's walking and like her thighs are kind of pressed together, but her ankles are really far apart. And Michael Caine is like, what in the world are you doing? So she's like, oh, fine. So she like reaches up under her dress and pulls out like a pile of weapons.
And armor.
And she's handing them to him.
All the Velcro.
Look at his face.
It's so good.
And
It's
he
so
says,
good.
what, no armored car? And she says, that would be my other dress.
The moment he figures out that she has no talent, and then he goes to Benjamin Bratt and yells, this woman has no talent. So funny.
Well, and then Benjamin Bratt says, don't say that right in front of her.
Right.
Come on.
He says, look how gorgeous she is. Look how gorgeous she is compared to the car wreck she was before.
But there's a pause. There's a notable romance pause in there. Look how gorgeous she is, ... And then to cover, because Howie's in love with her, he says,
suddenly,
compared to the car wreck she was before.
He has very suddenly fallen for her.
Yes, it's very sudden. It's very romance comedy movie.
Listen, she tries to escape with donuts in her bra.
And in her crotch.
Michael Caine is not fooled, and neither is that bomb-sniffing dog.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
There are some not great jokes in this scene as well, but for the most part, pretty fun.
Yeah, so then they're walking back to the room. And she's like, oh, no, I know you think I'm gorgeous. And he's like, bruh, I don't even know what you're talking about. And this is when she does the iconic, you think I'm gorgeous. You want to kiss me. You want to smooch me. It's so cute.
I love it.
I know.
I saw this on a listicle of like most cringeworthy scenes in romance movies. Like, of course, I clicked on most cringeworthy, like BuzzFeed, whatever, most cringy scenes in romance movies. It's like, how dare you? Like, this wasn't cringy. It was like everyone got secondhand embarrassment from her little thing, and I'm like, no,
I love her song.
No, I was thoroughly charmed. How dare you, BuzzFeed or whatever?
And so was Benjamin Bratt, because then, like you said, he leans in. And we have an almost kiss, but then he reaches up with a candy bar and takes a big bite because they're keeping sweets away from her.
Yes.
It's so mean. It's so deliciously mean. Oh my gosh. Actually, I non-ironically sing that song to my partner. So,
no,
you know,
that tracks.
It's just what I've got going on over here.
I do too.
Surprising no one.
I do it too.
Okay. And then the girls in the dressing room, this is when they're like, whoa, look at those titties or whatever. Like, you're professional law enforcement officers. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's slut shaming in the dressing room, too. It's like a double slut shame.
Yeah. Because she's in there with her little lapel pin camera. So she goes backstage and, like, all of the FBI horn dogs are watching and commenting on these women's bodies.
And then one of the girls is like, there was a boy in her room last night.
Texas. It's Texas. It's always
Texas.
I saw that
She's a big
man
B word.
that came into your room last night.
And then I think it was California was like, are you sleeping with a judge?
Yeah. I love California. All the another way you can tell that this is a 2000 movie is how aggressively Rhode Island is flipping her hair out so that it makes it like a perfect flipped out curl all the way around. And she's not the only one. Like, they are really getting that curl in there. Mm-hmm. So she goes out on this thing of like, oh, that's just some loser that like I tried to date because he told me he had a debilitating illness, but it turned out not to be true. And his ego is huge, but his equipment is small. And then like he's getting humiliated back with the FBI
and he's
guys.
like, oh yeah, we workshopped that together.
Yeah, it's something we're worked out ahead of time last night. It's fine.
And now it's prelims.
Yes.
So they're in an outdoor stage, which I didn't know was a thing. And they're doing all their talents.
They're at the Alamo.
She plays.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but just outdoor stage seems wrong. You're trying to get all those beauty queens to melt in the Texas heat. Stop.
Fair enough.
So anyway, she's playing the water glasses in her little Dutch girl outfit. And then she's convinced that there's a shooter out in the audience and nobody's getting to him in time. And so she does leap off the stage to tackle him. He was trying to light a cigarette.
It's a great leap.
It's incredible.
It's a really good leap.
Yes.
And to be fair, the guy does have a gun.
Yeah. Is reaching for it, is moving closer to the stage.
Yeah.
None of these other guys that we have on rooftops, Benjamin Brett, like no one can see this guy.
They're like, huh? Where is he?
And I just have to note, if you needed an agent to have her view from the stage, there were several pageant employees standing behind her, just like hanging out in polos that could easily cover a vest with mics. With visible mics. And she's like trying to ventriloquist, like while she's doing the, like, there's a guy, and try. If she were just one of those guys behind her with the mic, she could have been just like, hey, there's a guy.
Just talking.
And they wouldn't have even had to tweeze her eyebrows for that.
Right. And we wouldn't have had a movie.
Well.
Hey, HBs. I started an Etsy store. Did you know? Right now, it's full of all the St. Vincent items you need. Because St. Vincent is thoughtful and cozy all year round. We've got a book sleeve to keep your books, planners, e-readers, or really anything else safe when you're on the go. The inside is fuzzy, and they feel so incredibly lush in your hands. I went round and round with the manufacturers to make sure I had just the right thickness. Those feature art of St. Vincent and Evie during their carriage adventure that was painted by the amazing Mayara Faraz on one side, and then I created a St. Vincent Would Always wreath on the other side that has a bunch of little Easter egg items in it. There's a St. Vincent Would Always warm brick enamel pin. It's like, if you know, you know. I designed a special edition Marriage of Convenience candle that is specific to Devil in Winter, with the help of HB Jen at Post Pouring Company. It combines dark amber for St. Vincent and rosewood for Evie, and it smells so delicious. It's hard to even wrap my brain around. So if you want to treat yourself or be the St. Vincent you want to see in the world by getting a care package for a friend, check out our Etsy store. The link is in the show notes.
Yeah. So while I was watching it, I guess I rented it from Amazon. So there were like little fun facts on the side. And apparently open carry was illegal the year this movie came out.
Was illegal?
Really?
Illegal.
In Texas?
Yeah. Just having it out like that was illegal.
Huh.
In the state of Texas, though.
Yeah. Open carry was not legal until 2015. Now you can do that.
That's shocking to me.
That's a justified arrest. Then good for her that she did that big leap.
Yeah.
There you go. He was a lawbreaker through and through.
Through and through.
That guy. Okay, so now Murphy Brown threatens to kill her.
Not pleased. She does her great speech about feminist intellectuals and ugly women. She's been battling her entire life.
Yeah.
Yes. And she's like, I have dedicated my life to fighting those women with this scholarship program.
And then she threatens to kill her.
Yeah. She does like
and no one takes it seriously.
A woman who she knows is an FBI agent.
Yeah,
totally fine.
It's great.
And when she tells them later, she also threatened to kill me. They're like, what do you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So tonight's interview practice.
Oh my God, she's so tired.
She's so sleepy. She hasn't slept in so long.
Let her sleep.
I was tired for her.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt is watching from the hotel room the interview practice, surveillance style. And nope, this is true. And then says to his friends, I've got to go blow off some steam because stuff is going so bad. I'm going to go do laps. Be back in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What?
Who in the world has ever swam from being dry in a hotel room to back in the hotel room dry again 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Nobody in the history of the world.
Anyway,
yeah. Also, if you're an FBI agent running the op and you're just like, I gotta go swim some laps. Be back. Like,
I guess
no wonder
he has to make sense because you should not leave for longer than that.
Yeah. But this is a great scene, though, aside from the Liberace joke.
Yes.
Yes.
And it is a way to get his shirt off, which is important.
Right.
And very
put him
important
in the pool.
Yes.
to me, personally. Yes. Yeah, so they're doing the interview prep, and she's fucking exhausted. And she's like, leave me alone. I just need like 20 minutes of sleep. And he's very like, you have to do this. She makes a great New Jersey joke that, as, you know, a person who currently lives in New Jersey, I really appreciated. And then he's like, don't you have any pride? Don't you care about your presentation? And she says, I'm an FBI agent, not a performing monkey in heels. And then he says, you're a person, and a half-formed one at that. Where other people have friendships and relationships, you have sarcasm and a gun. Oh, it's mean, and it cuts deep. And so she does pull a gun on him when he tries to take away her donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She cocks it and puts it to his head. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Could have just not and walked out. She didn't need to threaten his life by putting a gun to his head. That was
a little extreme.
It was too much.
Listen, as a person who needs sleep, I saw where she was coming from.
And she's very hungry as well, which I know.
She's so hungry.
There's like donuts everywhere, and they never let her have one.
I have never met anyone in my life meaner than when Melody is hungry. No one. She's so mean when she's hungry.
So mean. I really am one of those stupid Snickers commercials. Like, I'm unrecognizable.
It's insane. Oh. But if she's going to get fired for anything, I feel like pointing a loaded gun at the expert's head and threatening him would be the thing most that she would get fired for. But then but she also has that great line that's like, you have no idea why I am the way that I am. And if they kept that mom story in there, it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
That makes more sense now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they have this great pool scene, which is I don't know. I just love this pool scene. This I am the job scene.
Mm-hmm. He looks pretty good in that pool too.
He does.
Oh God, he looks so good. So she goes out there and she's like, I just want to let you know I'm quitting. And he's like, what? No, of course you can't do that.
You can't quit.
And she's like, Vic just said some things that are very true to me and I didn't like it. And she talks about like being the job and like everybody thinks she's never had a date and all the things. And then she's like, you're the job.
She has had two.
She's had two in the last 10 years. Thank you very much. And so he's like, do you want to know why I picked you? And she says, lost a bet. And he goes, because you're smart. You don't take any crap from people. You're funny. You're easy to talk to when you're not armed. If everyone else gets a chance to see what I see, they're going to love you.
Aww.
Which is very sweet. Except that we know that he didn't pick her for those reasons. Like, we saw the scene, like, we were there, so was she. There was literally no one else, and that's why he picked her. We were there, but it's very sweet.
He does compliment her at least.
Yes.
And then he does pull her into the pool.
And then he throws her in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love her voice. Like, she's so cold.
God.
Like, you can feel the cold in her voice. And she's like, ooh, you're in trouble now.
Trouble.
So good. And he says, you look good wet.
Yeah.
I would not have minded a little pool wrestling there too, but
Right?
Yeah, that would have been
can't have
great.
everything.
So then the next day in the dressing room, when Vic is putting the boobs in her boobs, he stands in front of the TV and is like, hey, we're not going to oogle her because she's a federal agent.
She's a federal
These other
agent.
sluts, it's
Do whatever
fine.
you want with them.
But this one is an important federal agent that we can't oogle.
He has finally realized that maybe objectifying the woman that he works with.
Yeah, just the one though.
But just her. Yeah.
Yeah. No holds barred on the rest of them. Okay, so then she does the interview question. Everybody does. It's a montage of world peace. And then he's like, what does this society need? And she goes, well, harsher punishments for parole violators, Stan. And then there's like crickets. And she goes, and world peace.
So good. And then we have
But
now
now-
Cheryl's a suspect because
Cheryl's a suspect.
Cheryl, Rhode Island is
Yeah.
a suspect because one time she went to an animal rights something, which isn't great. Like, don't be a part of a terrorist organization.
Right.
But again, the shipyard and the stadium. But whatever. So then we get this great April 25th
Oh,
thing,
God. It's
which
one
apparently,
of the most iconic
according to when I was Googling things like what is the Russian at the beginning, I found out that this was a real pageant answer that really happened at some point.
Really?
I saw that too, but I wasn't sure. It said it was used as one, so I wasn't sure if it had happened in the past, so they used it for the movie, or somebody in the future.
Oh.
I wasn't sure.
The thing that I read said it was like modeled after a real thing that happened.
Okay,
so I
so-
assumed, but maybe, I'll have to do more research on that. But it's funny
I love
and
it.
good.
It's a great line.
Yeah.
And Cheryl is actually so sweet.
Yeah. I really felt like when I watched this back in 2000 when I was, 12,
Yeah.
I felt like she was an airhead. And now looking back, I really want to be friends with Cheryl. I just want to find somebody that sweet and nice to be my friend.
I know.
And also, it's so clear that Cheryl has never had like a real friend before who believes in her. So Gracie's just like, well, if you want to do that thing, you should do it. And she's like, wow, nobody ever said that to me before. And I'm like, oh, you poor girl.
Oh,
It's so sweet. So they're like, she's a suspect now. You have to do girl talk at her. And she's like, I don't know how to girl talk. And then they're like, Michael Caine, maybe you should go do the girl talk. Come on, everyone. Anyway, and then we've got an eating disorder joke that I did not love.
Oh, but it comes right after the autism joke.
Yeah.
It's a real,
There is also that
lineup
autism.
right here.
Yeah, so she comes in with pizza and beer because this is how she's going to do girl talk at a beauty pageant.
And she takes out her earpiece so that all of the FBI guys can't listen because she can't do girl talk with a guy in her head, she says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She says she can barely do it with her in her head, which I found very cute. Anyway,
Where's this bar? Where can we go? Where is bar?
I want to paint drum real
Where
bad.
can I drum on paint drum at?
No,
Where can
I
I find
want to
test
do
tubes?
Yeah.
Want it.
Want it,
Anyway.
need it. Maybe we'll throw that party.
She is such a good undercover, you guys.
Ugh, so good.
This pizza is so good. It should be illegal, comma, speaking of illegal, have you ever committed a crime? Wow. Just aces. Just crackerjack police work right there.
I mean, in her defense, her interrogation subject is hammered. So,
True.
Yeah.
And also kind of naive to begin with.
True.
Yeah.
True. I mean, it works.
What I love about this scene is that you get to see Gracie bonding with this like core group of pageant girls.
Yeah.
I have a hard time calling them girls either, also because
Yeah.
they are all clearly older than I think typical pageant girls are in this
right.
kind of thing.
Normal Miss America contestants are like in their very early 20s, like they're college students, right?
Yeah, they're still college students, and none of these women look like college
These
students,
women are 30.
which is fine though.
Yeah.
But
No, I preferred it. It's great.
Me too. Yeah. But it's really nice to actually see them bonding and see different sides to these characters. And it felt very like heroine's journey.
Yeah, it really did.
But when she asked her if she did something illegal, she talks about stealing red underwear, and then she talks about a crime that happened against her as if she did something wrong and illegal. And it's just so awful.
Well, so first she says, one time I stole red underwear from the department store. My mother wouldn't buy them for me. She said they were Satan's panties.
I loved it.
I love it.
So that's a great line.
Yes.
But then, yes, she reveals that she was assaulted by her college lit professor.
Yeah.
Which is
and
awful.
she's never told anyone until now because she's never had a fucking friend. And then instead of FBI agent Sandra Bullock being like, "Well, you've just reported it because we're gonna she's like, "There's maneuvers I could show you."
Right.
Because the problem was that you just couldn't fight him off.
You
hard
didn't
enough.
defend
Here are
yourself
some,
well enough.
Yeah, here are some maneuvers. Not great.
Ugh,
Not great.
Yeah.
But then she passes out, and then in the bathroom where they're trying to revive Miss Rhode Island, she finds out that Kathy Morningside, Murphy Brown,
AKA Candace Bergen.
Yes.
was fired. And also, like, when she did her pageant, the winner mysteriously got food poisoning, which somehow makes her a suspect in mass bombings. So, like, we're in a situation where 20 years ago, she maybe lightly poisoned somebody to win a beauty pageant / scholarship program. And now she's a suspect in unibombings. Like,
I think we are supposed to forget most of the details about the actual criming happening in this movie.
That's fair.
And to be fair, I did. So now they get
when we get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
We find out that they have caught the citizen. They've caught the Unabomber in a shack in Schmur, and they had lots of explosives.
He's basically like bathing in C4.
That's when Gracie Lou Freebush is like, maybe it's a copycat. Maybe it's Kathy Morningside due to a light poisoning 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Which, here's the thing. I really felt the moment where she's like, you're shutting up enough for the both of us. And, you know, betrayal implies that you did something and all you did was stand there and not defend me. But also her theory is insane. And I don't know that I could have stood up for it either. Like, she turns out to be right, but like,
Well, I feel like she had enough reason to be suspicious because there was that thing, but then there's also that she's getting fired too, and she literally threatened to kill her.
She did threaten to kill her.
And she says all of that, and he's like, oh, where'd you get your intel? A pajama party or something like that? And I'm like, oh, because she got it from the other women who are in the inside and know everything that's going on. Like, we should just throw that out.
And this is an op you signed off on. You were like, yes, the best course of action is to send our FBI agent into a pajama party. You did this.
I do think there are things that Benjamin Bratt could have said in this conversation to defend her that didn't necessarily say she had a good theory.
Yeah.
Like, we sent her into that pajama party or something like that.
Anyway, they're like, we're packing up. It's over. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay. And I request a small contingent of agents. And the guy's like, nope.
Denied.
If you're staying, you're doing it as a private citizen. And she's like, looks like I quit the FBI. That's what happened, right, Erin?
Yeah.
Yes, she quits the FBI. She hands Benjamin Bratt her badge and her gun. And she is now a private citizen who is just in a beauty pageant trying to make sure her friends don't get exploded.
Yes. Okay, cool. So Benjamin Bratt fucks off. Michael Caine fucks off. And like, he's the only one who knows how to put on her mascara. And so she has to go and try to get ready. And she's like,
wait, the next scene is like her theory is confirmed. Now we have Candace Bergen with Frank, her son, and now she is a full-on villain.
Yeah.
Completely reveals the whole thing.
She's got all of these like ransom notes in front of her that she's making. And then Frank comes in and she yells at him about his shirt being untucked again. And she's got the crown on, pretending to cry and wave. And reveals that they were copying the citizens' letters, which makes sense for why the FBI was able to decipher this one so easily and not any of the others.
Right.
Apparently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So then all the girls help her, like you said.
Well, so Michael Caine first gives her her dress. And he says he's proud of her.
That's right.
Yes, he would have would have had a daughter, it would have been like her. She would have been like her.
Yeah.
And that's why he's never had a daughter.
But then he gives her a dress and he has to leave as well because the FBI won't pay him if he doesn't leave.
Yeah. But at the airport, Benjamin Bratt and he are walking along and he's like, oh, yeah, Frank is her son. He changed his name because he broke a bunch of laws.
Should have said.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they have asked him? Like, at any point, like, he's been there this whole time. They could have been like, let's ask you for some information about this pageant and these people.
Volunteer any of the information. Like, he's just listening to them have these conversations about who might be shady, and he knows who's shady, and he's just like, well, I'm not FBI, so I'll just sit here and listen. It's nuts. But I have to say, before we get to the plane, is that, like, epic fall in the Lady Liberty outfit. Where she, like, her hair is up on the spinities of the crown.
Leading into that, first, they are very mean to Miss Hawaii. And then, but because Gracie does not know how to put herself together, she's like holding like a blush compact. And she's like, where's my lipstick? So all of her friends that she bonded with over pizza and paint drumming, like they descend upon her with curling irons and powder and all of that to like help her get ready, which I don't think would really happen in a beauty pageant, but maybe. It's very heroine's journey, though. I love it.
If nothing else, they would have looked at her like she had 7 heads and been like, how did you get to Miss America without knowing what is blush and what is lipstick? How?
Here's the thing.
It would be really suspicious.
Texas wouldn't have helped her.
No.
New York would not have helped her.
No.
California would not have helped her. Hawaii
California
would not have helped her. Maybe California.
Yeah.
But
Rhode Island.
California and Rhode Island
would have helped her.
Yeah. Okay, so now they do this whole Lady Liberty dance thing, and when she's called, isn't it when she's called into the top 10, she falls?
Not yet. So first she sees Candice Bergen and so Kathy Morningside and Frank, her creepy son, are like fighting over something, and they end up leaving a suitcase unattended. So Gracie's like, I forgot my breasts. Be right back.
I forgot my breasts.
And then she tries to go check the suitcase, and I think that's when Benjamin Bratt comes back? No, he hasn't yet.
No.
Oh, a PA opens it, and it's just a microphone.
It's nothing. Yeah. Then she sneaks on stage. Then she has her big fall where when William Shatner says, oh, shit, it's such a funny moment.
It's so good. Because they actually do the dance number, like, they pull it off. Yeah. She manages to do all of the choreography where they're in these, like, weird Statue of Liberty costumes holding, like,
their
plaques of their states.
But, like, it's so real, though. Like, shit is exactly what they do. Then she gives Cheryl the flaming batons.
Yeah.
Because, like, she wanted to have sexy batons, but she didn't know she could do it. And she's like, listen, you stole red panties. Like, you're a mad woman. Like, you can do this.
You could do anything.
Then Benjamin Bratt comes back with Vic. Yes. Bratt flashes his badge, and then Vic flashes a makeup palette, and it's like, I'm with him. Oh, it was so good. Then when they get into the pageant, then suddenly Vic is the one with the credentials, because he's the one everyone recognizes.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, he's with me, and does little winks and stuff.
Yeah.
Which, you know, Benjamin Bratt's response is very, like, no homo, but I found it to be very cute. Like, the whole I thought was very cute, even though it was a gay joke that was not great.
Right.
And he's like, come on, Muffin.
I know. Come on, Muffin was perfect.
That was cute. Yeah. So now Gracie knows that Frank is the guy, and we see Frank hiding a box somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. And Benjamin Bratt's like, okay, now we've got to go find Frank. But she's like, no, I have to do my talent. Like, but we don't have to do the pageant anymore. Like, please stop, Agent Hart. We just have to concentrate on the bombing. I don't know why this to run down the lead.
For story reasons, she has to actually earn her spot in the top 5 now.
Yeah. I know. It's ridiculous, but whatever.
So, but the other women have all drunk her water because they were thirsty. And she doesn't have any other talent. So then she tells Michael Caine, you said it. All I have is sarcasm and a gun. And Benjamin Bratt adds, yeah, that and a right hook.
Yeah.
And you can see the light bulb just going off in her head. And so then we get the best self-defense team. And now I feel like many women know the sing method.
Yeah.
Because of the show. I think everybody knows
Solar plexus, instep,
nose,
groin, groin. So good. Yeah, and so she beats the shit out of Benjamin Bratt on stage. And I loved it for all the times that he did not stick up for her in front of their boss. That's what you get.
Yeah.
And she's so, like, Sandra Bullock charming throughout the whole thing. Like, he doesn't want to come over and get beat up. And she's like, looks like Widow Alec needs some applause. Like, oh, it's so cute.
It's like a comedy act. It was great.
Yeah.
All right. So then now they're done. And they're like, now we've got to go find Frank. And then it's like, no, now it's the evening gown. We can't find Frank now.
But Candace Bergen has the crown now because the previous year's Miss United States was walking around with it. And she's like, oh, we got to clean it. And she just takes it and runs away.
Yeah. Make sure it really shines.
She's putting a very obvious bomb on it.
Yeah.
Very obvious bomb.
But there's a moment that I never caught before where after Sandra Bullock beats up Benjamin Bratt with Sing, she caresses the side of his face. He's on the ground because she just hit him in the nuts.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay. And then she just kind of goes like this to him and pats his shoulder.
It's
very cute.
What a romance.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
So when they announced the top 5,
she gets in.
I noticed for the first time that Nebraska is named Kelly Beth Kelly, which is the best name. I never caught that before. That's when New York does her lesbian speech.
Yeah.
Which, is kind of half a gay joke and half not. I don't know. But, when they go back to the people that are the tech people, and he's like, can we say lesbian on live TV? And the woman's do you have a problem with that? I don't know. It's kind of...
It felt like they were trying.
Yeah.
They were trying by 20 years ago standards.
Yes.
Right.
That's kind of how it felt.
Trying.
And I felt like her declaration was meant very sincerely. From a movie standpoint. Not from... it was obviously sincere from a character standpoint, but I thought it was also sincere from a movie standpoint.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So one of the bits of trivia that I saw said that so Miss New York, who's Afro-Latina, shouts out to all the lesbians out there, and her girlfriend is in the audience, and she stands up and she's got a big New York sign. The woman who plays her girlfriend in the audience was originally cast as Miss New Jersey. And she was going to be the Miss New Jersey who steps back. Oh. And they had filmed a scene where they approached her and asked her to step back. And they cut the scene for pacing, I think. So they brought her in for this moment so she could still be in the movie.
Oh, wow. I'm glad they cut that scene
where they outed her as a porn star and threatened her so that she would drop out of the competition. I'm glad that's no longer
really glad that's gone. Yeah. But also glad she got to have her face in this movie. That's great.
Yeah. Yes. Good for her. But then William Shatner says, and we'll be back with our final 5 lesbians interviews.
He's perfect.
Okay. So now Rhode Island gives her interview where she says America is like a big ship, and when we love each other and respect each other, that's how the ship gets safely home, which is so good and perfect. Uh-huh. Then Sandra Bullock does her answer about how she's learned so much from being in this pageant that it is feminist, and these women she's learned so much from, and such a perfect, good answer. And Michael Caine is so happy. And then the funniest moment of the movie, in my opinion, happens where she says, and if anyone tries to hurt one of my new friends, I would take them out. I would make them suffer so much. And if they ran, I would hunt them down. To silence.
And then she's
like, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. It's so good. And then he goes, one shining moment. And then
this is where
he says, oh, it's so good.
Gracie realizes that the crown is the bomb.
Yeah.
Yes. And instead of turning to Michael Caine and saying, the bomb is in the crown, and just being laid on stage, or I don't know, fucking not going on stage. We're saving lives here. You're a former FBI agent. Try harder. She's like, oh, but I have to go. I have to go on stage.
And she also, she can't get it out either. She's just like, the crown, it's the crown. And he's like, yes, wear the crown, be the crown.
Be the crown.
And she just never says outright, the bomb is in the crown, Michael Caine. Go tell Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't want to like cause hysteria. It's like she doesn't want to say bomb, right? But it's like at this point, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
There is a bomb. It's there. We need to do something about it.
I feel like
Cause
maybe at
hysteria
this point they should have just briefed the top 5 and been like, hey, bitches, something's gonna happen. So, like, let's all be on the same page here. If I tell you not to put on the crown, it's because I am an FBI agent formerly.
Yes.
You know? Like,
this is not a moment of the show must go on.
No! But she is only beauty pageant contestant now, and she wants to fucking win. So she goes out there. And... So after she gets on stage, she starts like doing pointy ears at Benjamin Bratt to get him to know that it's the crown. Then Benjamin Bratt sees Frank climb up onto the top of like where the
Statue of Liberty, the fake stage Statue of Liberty.
To accomplish what?
To see when the crown goes on so that he can push the explode button.
He can't
but he can do that from
the
side?
Apparently not.
Why is he up there?
Because he's Creepy Frank.
He's got to be up there.
Maybe he wanted to see the cleavage when it happened.
Maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Focal point. So then he goes up the ladder to get up into the rafters, and a security guard, who is the only man doing his job
That's right.
to protect this pageant, not the FBI, like no one else is doing their jobs. He apprehends him, as he should, because Bratt fucking pulled his gun 20 minutes ago before he even started running. He pulled his gun before he climbed the ladder, which is nuts. Anyway, so he's just running around with a gun, gets detained by a security guard, and then beats up that poor man who was just doing his job.
He does.
Yeah. And instead of just being like, I'm an FBI agent, like, first of all, why didn't the security guard know that this was going on?
Thank you.
Right.
And instead of being like, here's my badge, or like he punches the guy in the face.
He says, I'm going to slowly reach for my badge. And the guy's like, if you do that, you're dead. So then he's like, okay, I guess I'll punch you in the face. But the whole exchange, I just was like, this is the one man who was doing the right thing in this situation. Okay. All right. So then we get the announcement. So like California goes down. Like now we're top 2. We're Rhode Island and Jersey. They're the top 2. She hugs her and says, don't take the crown. Of course, this bitch doesn't hear it because it's loud and she's crying and all of these things. So she gets pulled away by like just a rando in a tux who she apparently can't fucking fight off for 20 seconds. Like, you just did the demo, bitch. Sing, in-step, like do it. You've got elbows, you've got heels. Like,
And finally, I think he's like the dance instructor or something. Because he's been in a few scenes, but he like picks Sandra Bullock up and is like taking her off stage.
And then she gets to Rhode Island and is like fighting her. Rhode Island's like fighting her off with a bouquet. It's like, lay this bitch out. Like, I know you don't want to punch Cheryl in the face, but do it. There's a bomb, man.
Maybe just like a gut punch, and then the crown will fall into your hands. You know? Something.
Yeah.
And then she gets the crown and then throws it directly
hold
at the
on,
man she loves. Yes.
Not yet.
Yeah, tell us everything.
So she flips one guy, hits another guy in the nose, and then rushes back to Cheryl, who beats her off with her bouquet of roses.
That's right.
Yes. And all of the flowers fall off.
It's like she doesn't want to punch Cheryl.
She doesn't want to punch Cheryl. She's just trying to pull the crown off her head, and it is like super glued on there.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt is still fighting Frank over the detonator.
Yes.
And meanwhile, William Shatner is still reciting she's beauty and she's grace. Raise your crown to the sky. Like, he's still going through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a professional.
Then Texas jumps in because she's like, if somebody's going to fight over this crown, it's going to be me.
That's right.
100%.
So she and Gracie are fighting over the crown now. They've gotten it off of Cheryl's head, and Cheryl is just standing there bawling.
Sobbing.
That shot of her just crying while the confetti falls is so funny. It's so funny.
And then, backstage, we cut to this very evil shot of Candice Bergen. It's like kind of shot from below, looking up at her, and she's got this like evil look on her face.
Yeah.
Because Mama's about to like make it happen because Frank is fucking it up.
Yeah, as usual.
So Frank and Benjamin Bratt still fighting. Gracie and Texas are still fighting. So Gracie finally punches somebody else in the nose. She punches Texas in the nose.
Yeah.
Cheryl's still sobbing. And then Benjamin Bratt yells, Gracie, because the detonator has fallen. Candace Bergen picks up the detonator. William Shatner yells, hold your crown up high. And
he's professional. He's never going to stop saying those lines.
No.
Consummate professional.
The show is going on for him. That is when Gracie, in slow motion, throws the crown up into the air. And it explodes, taking part of the Statue of Liberty with it. And then Cheryl faints into her arms.
Yes. Is that not where Benjamin Bratt was fighting Frank? Right there.
It's pretty close.
Of the Statue of Liberty.
He's
like down the stairs a little bit, but it's
still pretty close.
If we're going to have a crime mystery thriller romance, at the end, at the climax of the film, I don't want the romantic heroine to throw the bomb at the romantic hero. Like, if she's going to make a choice of where do I throw this, into the crowd, into the off to the side, like, who am I going to explode? I don't want her to choose the hero.
You don't want her to shrapnel the hero? Come on, man! Like, it's just a casual shrapnel.
They should have had that little fight between Frank and Benjamin Bratt somewhere else, because it is cinematic to have part of the statue explode. Totally. And then William Shatner is still standing there with flames and confetti behind him, and he goes, she's Miss United States. And scene.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
And then the TV producer is like,
good show.
Okay. Good show, everybody.
We did it. Yeah. So then they arrest Murphy Brown, and she's getting taken away. And this is when she's like, I did this for all the girls and all the beauties, and I worked my whole life, and I made you into a beauty queen. And that's where she says.
She says something about it being a beauty pageant. And then Gracie's like, it is not a beauty pageant. It is a scholarship program. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
And it's all while she's trying to put her hand on her head to get her into the car. And so when Candace Bergen turns around, Sandra Bullock's hand is on her head, so her hair gets weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. And then she says something like, have fun organizing the Miss San Antonio Correctional Facility pageant, which is also hilarious. But they do have pageants in women's prisons.
They do.
So I think that Candace Bergen could do that. Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh.
I don't know if they have one at the Miss San Antonio Correctional Facility, but they do.
So then Benjamin Bratt is walking along with Sandra Bullock, and he's like, hey, so I was wondering, when we get back, maybe you and I could have dinner. What?
No. Specifically, he says, after we get back and you get all ugly again, maybe we could have dinner. Which was important to me because I want to be clear that she's not going to keep this up. She didn't even know what lipstick was when she got back into the dressing room. This is all going away within a couple of weeks, and he needs to acknowledge and understand that.
There's a little bit of a bookend going on here also, where she still looks great. Her hair has come down a little bit, but very artfully tousled. It looks beautiful. And he is covered in soot.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow.
You're so right.
Because she threw a fucking bomb at him. Somehow, he just got exploded.
He's otherwise fine. He's just dirty.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, he should at least be dirty for continuity purposes. Because, again, the bomb was thrown directly at him.
It's true.
Yeah.
So then she's like, are you asking me on a date? And he's like, I mean, just casual dinner, and if we have sex afterward, fine. And she's like,
hot.
You think I'm gorgeous, you want to date me, love me and marry me. And then they make out.
We get a great smooch out of this. It's so good.
She grabs his lapel and kind of pulls him back.
Yeah, she gets the kiss.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And
then we get the final scene where she's walking into the breakfast and she says she's gonna miss the heels, and suddenly she's very aware of her breasts, and he says, that's funny, suddenly me too. I'm also very aware of your breasts, which is really funny. And then she's the Miss Congeniality Award.
Well, she's leaving. She's not even going to say goodbye to anybody.
Yeah.
And they come in, Michael Caine runs out, and he's like, there's an incendiary device. So she and Benjamin Bratt go running back into the breakfast, and Cheryl is there on the stage because she is, of course, Miss United States now. And she's like, and here she is. She'll always be Gracie Lou Freebush to us, our Miss Congeniality.
Oh. And then she really does get choked up like she was making fun of before. And she says she really does want world peace. It's so great.
Oh, it's perfect.
And then there's like a group hug, and then it ends.
Yeah. You know what, though? There are so many threading places in New York. I think she could at least keep her eyebrows on point when they get back.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I think she could hire Michael Caine if she wanted to.
Probably.
So,
I don't know how she would do that
once
on
a
that
month,
government
just
salary,
like
but...
Yeah.
Well, she could get one of those federal manicurists.
that's what
to,
she
like,
needs.
swing
What else
by
are
her
they doing?
office.
Yeah. They're not working. Like, they need the hours.
They do.
How many FBI agents
I mean-
do you think need to be beauty queens per month?
I would be happy if she just like put her hair behind her ears
That's
and
it.
like,
Ugh.
you know, stopped like licking her fingers at the table or whatever.
She is a
It's
woman
just
who does not need
unsanitary.
makeup. She just needs to change a few hygiene issues, and she'll be fine.
Yeah, it's true. All right, this was such a great pick. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Alexis.
Thank you for coming on.
This is a great pick.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you have a lady love?
Oh, yeah, I do. So I actually had a couple here. I wasn't sure which I was going to use.
couple.
Wow.
I have, so you'll be able to see it on the video.
Yeah.
I have been collecting Fable bands, which are headbands by this company called Fable Bands that is owned by an Afro-Latina woman. She's Dominican, and my hair is on them. So these are all like headbands, but based on books. So this is an Addie LaRue one. This one is from Cersei. This one is from You Had Me at Hola.
Oh.
They actually did one. This is a Bridgerton one.
That's amazing.
I have a whole bunch of them. And they have just been helping me out during all this time that I sit at my desk over the last year and a half.
Yeah.
It's just keeping my hair in my face. Maybe
So
Sandra
where are
Bullock
they?
could use one.
Yeah.
Are they Etsy? Are they their own website?
They have their own website, and they're also active on Instagram. Fable Bands.
Fable
Fable
bands. I'm
bands.
writing that
Okay.
down hard.
Thank you.
Yeah. Erin, do you have one?
Yes, and I just lost it. Wait. Oh, I have it. Hi. You may have noticed that I'm wearing glasses for the first time
Yeah.
in a long time.
They look
That's
hot.
because in the year 2015, I had my eyeballs lasered, as you remember.
I do.
My eyeballs have regressed back to not being able to see well. And I've known this for like a year, but I've just been telling myself, like, no, it's fine. I don't need to see street signs. It's fine.
Erin!
Friends, if you need glass, just go. You can do it at Costco. Just go to your glass. Just do it. Just get the glasses.
You look
It
so
just,
good
It was
right
like
now,
one of those
too.
things that was like, you know, it's like a thing you have to do, but it's like, it's like that thing you have to do. Instantly improve your vision should be top of the list.
Yeah.
Just do it. Or whatever your thing is that you're like putting off that will like instantly improve your life. There's individual leaves on trees. I can drive. It's nuts. Just do it. Go get your eyes or whatever checked. Do it. It's not
All right.
scary.
Awesome.
Okay.
Mine is embrace who you are right now. I never thought that I was going to be the mom who like emails everyone and CCs the mayor and yells at school officials like on the phone, you know? But when your school district doesn't come out with the COVID safe plan and it's like a week and a half before school, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I will tell you what, everybody, they had a plan out within 36 hours of me going on my private rampage. So
Well done.
I'm also going to the school board meeting on Tuesday. They're very excited to see me. It's going to be great. So I don't recognize myself right now, everyone, but here we are. So embrace whoever you need to be.
This is a melody that has been pushed to her limit. That's not typical melody behavior.
All right. Okay, so Alexis, where can everyone find you? They need to follow you online.
I am most active on Instagram right now at Alexis Daria, one word. I also have a website, alexisdaria.com, very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sign up for my newsletter there. I try to send all kinds of like fun subscriber bonuses and free things. So
nice.
Check it out.
Oh, that's so good. And you have to pick up A Lot Like Adios. You have to.
It's fantastic.
It's so good.
Read it.
It's so good. All right. And you know where you can find us online. So keep being a badass.
Oh, did we say anything funny?
I don't think we said a single thing that was funny. And love yourself as much as you love. You think I'm gorgeous. You want to date me.
I do love that.
I love it a lot. All right, cool.
All right, love yourself that much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm Jenny Nordback.
And I'm Melody Carlisle. We're teaming up for a brand new show, Bonkers Romance. We're taking our love for romance and dialing it up to 11 with your favorite authors and personalities from Romancelandia.
Every Thursday, we recap a truly bonkers piece of romance media and discuss how its tropes are maximized and what they do for us.
Along the way, you'll get commentary, book recs, hilarious stories, hot takes, and a unique peek into the brains of creators you admire.
Join us each week as we celebrate the authors who really go there and show us that our hard limits
might just be guidelines.
We're available everywhere, so follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.